We are live. This is Jennifer Sanchez. You are listening to the Wise Coffee Chat Show on WRMN 1410. You can learn more about WRMN 1410 by going to their website, WRMN1410.com. My name is Jennifer Sanchez. Before I bring on my guest, I want to introduce myself. I am the founder of Wise Alliance Network, Wise Women's Institute of Self-Development and Efficacy. I know it's super long. I'm also the founder of the newest book, Wise Women Empower Women, that's on Amazon. And I'm a real estate investor. So if anyone's looking to sell their property, let me know. And a mom of 3 beautiful girls. So that's enough about me. That's one of the questions I hate so much. Like, what do you do? I don't ask me that question. I do a lot. So that is me. I'll pass it over to Alicia. Can you introduce yourself to the listeners?
Yes, I'm Alicia Marcus Birong, and I also have many hats. I'm a life coach, a hypnotherapist, a speaker. I've written 4 books, and I also have written a program called Chatter Girls, which we wrote in 2013. So we have a few years on it. And I also wrote a professional pediatric coaching program.
Wow. So what is a pediatric coach first?
Okay, a pediatric coach is a person who works with kids, usually from the ages of 6 to teenagers. And instead of being like a therapist, they instead empower the girls or the boys to take control of their life so they can be amazing adults.
Oh, wow. I mean, and you know what? You always hear about coaching and you hear about life coaches, but you don't really hear them for children, which is totally different, right?
Yes.
And then here's my next question for you, right? What kind of coffee do you like to drink in the morning? I just have to ask that before we go into any more conversation.
I am a latte coconut milk with 1 stevia.
Oh, okay. That's very specific.
Yes.
Right?
And they know me at Starbucks and all the other coffee places in Crystal Lake.
You know, I always wondered if you have a very specific order, do coffee places know who you are? Because I'm the same way with the Starbucks. I'm like white mocha, no whip, soy milk, 1 pump of the syrup. Like literally, that's what I say every single time. So that's great to know that you like, though, that's the way you like to drink your coffee. I like asking that question. When I remember on the show, I'm like, okay, let me ask this question. So then now going back to Chatter Girls, how did all of this start? Take us to the beginning of like the reasoning that you started even Chatter Girls.
Well, I was doing coaching and with women and children. And there was a day that I was in the office and I was with a 10-year-old girl. And she had some real challenges. The same day, I had a woman who was 35 years old in the next office. Mm-hmm. She had some challenges. They had the same challenge, no confidence.
Okay.
And I said, it's time to empower our young girls so that they have that confidence, so they can be that CEO and they don't have to challenge themselves when they're 30 some odd years old to say, can I do it? I have no confidence. If you learn how to do it early on. And Chatter Girls is based on mindfulness. So we really teach them how to let go of the negative chatter. Mm-hmm. And empower themselves to listen to themselves.
And that's where the Chatter Girls came from, the idea that the negative chatter that we all experience, yes, right, in our minds. Not that girls are chatty patties, right?
No, we're not on chatty patties, no.
And but that's good to know because, you know, you think about, you know, sometimes women, they don't get empowered enough as young girls, and then they're lacking as they're older. And you'd be surprised, me here in this position that I am, all the time I get young girls to come up to me, Jennifer, how do you do this? How do you make a name for yourself in this industry? How do you, you know, it's like, it's always like the lack of confidence. I'm like, you just have to know that you are who you are and just do it, right? But sometimes people don't have that type of guidance, right?
Exactly. And I always give the girls the example that I didn't speak till I was 30 years old. In other words, I was very naive, intrigated. I just didn't speak. Like I would have never been doing this.
Yeah.
But I came to a point where I let go of all the negative, and I went through this process that I put the girls through. And that's when I say to the girls, look at how many more years you get to empower yourself and be able to be who you want. If you want to be bisexual, you can be bisexual. If you want to be the skier, be the skier. Whatever you want is yours. Mm-hmm. And a lot of them don't know that. Everybody says, oh, you need to make these certain grades. You need to do this, do what? Or you got girls at home, you know this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're annoying. I'm just like, just joking. Girls are great. I never had sons, so I don't know, what it entails being a parent to a boy versus only girls.
I did.
Yeah, I'm sure it's different, right? Boys are more energy. And I think, like, I'm a tomboy, like I grew up, so I think I would have loved having a son because I think I would have been running around all the time, but that's just not what the cards were not for me there, right? It was just little girls.
Well, and I have a son and I have a grandson, and my grandson and granddaughter are completely different, but they both have things that they want to do. My grandson wants to be a golfer. Oh, nice. And, my granddaughter wants to be a engineer, genetic person.
Oh, wow.
They all have their dreams, but they also have to deal with every day. And that's the reality that we need to understand. One of the things that have happened in our world, and where Chatter Girls took a break when we had COVID. And so when we took our break from COVID, I went back and looked at things and said, the world's different.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I rewrote the program.
Okay.
I went to the point of, we have a session on the voice. They have no voice. Their voice is that phone.
That phone.
And so in Chatter Girls, in the rewriting, I worked with them mainly on learning how to use their voice instead of their phone. I was at a birthday party with my granddaughter. She was turning 15. 8 girls at a table. Mm-hmm. I'm sitting across from the table at another table, and I look at her and I say, Sophie, why aren't you talking to the girls? Well, you are, Mimi. And I go, no, you aren't. Yeah, they were. They're all talking on the phone. None of them looking at each other, just talking on the phone. And that's how our kids communicate now. But they don't know how to go into the grocery store and ask for anything.
Yeah.
So Chatter Girls helps them learn that they have a voice, and to be able to have that concentration on being able to ask for what they want.
So this is a good question now that you brought COVID, because I feel like COVID messed up a lot of the kids, especially because of the doing school from home, remote stuff. They became more antisocial. I almost feel like a lot of kids, and you could see it, the older ones, like now, like I could see it even here, they have high anxiety.
Oh, major.
And I'm just like, oh my gosh, you guys are so anxious. And I feel like it's related to COVID. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I absolutely agree. It is. We look also at the group of kids that were born and who were the first ones to end up with who were born, they're called the Alpha Kids, and they were born in 2010. And those were the kids who got hit the most. So here, communicate. Here's an iPad. Here, do school. Here's a computer. So they were put in front of a computer for those years of COVID. And so relationship situation was very difficult for them. And yes, they have a lot of anxiety just to communicate with their best friends, to communicate with their parents, and then just to connect with the outside world.
Yeah. It seems like it was easier my generation or older generations, right? To just be kids. You run around, you just play sports, you go outside, be home before it gets dark, right? Drink out of water hoses, right?
Yes, all of that. I did all of that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I was still the generation, even though I'm a millennial, I'm an older millennial. So I still got to experience a lot of like Gen X, what I guess I've even read like I'm in the whole Zennial, like I'm in my own category because they were like the 80s babies, right?
Yeah.
I think they're too young. I don't think none of the, I don't think none of the, oh, you're okay. It's like he's a millennial too. But then after millennials, what is the next one is why? Who is
Why?
Why,
Yeah.
right?
Why? Yeah, and I'm not in any of those generations. I'm in the 50s child, and so I did the telephone that was connected to the wall, and we played outside, and somebody rang a bell, and everybody went home, to their own houses and stuff. Our kids don't play outside.
Yeah.
Very seldom. I do find, especially with the girls, that the girls are less mature. And so they're not ready for, even in their high school year or into middle school, they're not ready for relationships. They could care less about a boy.
Good. I'm like, good.
Which is really, really good.
Yeah.
And so, that's okay. People tell them, oh, don't you have a boyfriend? And they're like, no, I just want to hang with my girls.
That's good. Yeah, no, that's good. And I think even like the younger generation looks like they're not even focused on getting into relationships, dating. Like they're not getting married to like their 30s, right? And it's impressive. I'm like, good for you. Don't do that. That's gonna ruin your life. And I'm just joking.
No, but in my generation, it was, if you didn't get married after high school, it was
something's wrong with you.
Yeah,
what's wrong with you?
Yeah, exactly. But now they're putting a lot of energy into their education.
That's good.
And starting to put energy into relationships, but they are with usually same sex.
Yeah.
And even with the guys, we find the guys have major anxiety. And they also don't communicate real well at all. And moms are telling them that they should do this and should do that. And they're going, no.
I'm not surprised that guys cannot communicate. They all look at me. So do you work with guys as well or boys as well in the program?
Not in the program. And I have a boys program written.
Oh, nice.
But I'm waiting for Chatter Girls to take off. And as I said to you a little bit ago, we're now to the point where we're going to sell Chatter Girls to after school programs, YWCAs.
Oh, that's super cool.
So that this program, that's why they'll become life coaches, leaders, because then they'll have the training to work with those kids.
So are you looking to license the program essentially with other organizations?
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Yes.
That's actually really impressive.
Yes.
So you're going to do that. You're going to also, you're working with the girls. You want to really focus in on the girls. Now, on the boys end, when do you think you would launch something for the boys once everything's established with the girls, or what are you thinking with that?
Once the girls are moving, and probably so that's going to be 2 years. If it moves faster and the Y or someone says, Alicia, we really need a boys program. Once they commit to one program, I will go ahead and work with them. So we will do the same thing. We will teach guys how to be pediatric life coaches so that they can work with the boys.
Yeah.
But also we will use women in working with the boys, because I think that they need to understand both.
Yeah.
Especially at that time of puberty.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. I understand that a lot. So with the program with and I guess I'm just trying to wrap my head around the whole program with the boys, right? What are some needs that you see boys need versus girls, especially like nowadays, especially after COVID? Are there similarities or do they have their own needs?
They have some of the same needs, but they're different. Boys will isolate more. They don't usually always have a group unless they're like in sports or something like that.
Okay.
But they isolate more. We're seeing a lot of more ADD kids. ADHD is what I'm trying to say. And a lot of anxiety. A lot of anxiety. So most of the time, a boy would come in from school, walk into their room, slam their door, and not come out until there's food. Pretty much how it goes. Right, guys? So, yeah, I mean.
The grown men are like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that's how my son was. And so the program, boys do groups different than girls do. Mm-hmm. So like in Chatter Girls, we have activities, and then we do what we call Journey to the Mind. It's teaching them to shut their minds off and listen to themselves and accept who they are. We do that with the boys, but we're going to do it in different ways.
That's cool.
Girls like to make things. Boys, they
want to go fight something or watch something.
Yeah, they want to do a more action activity. So I wrote it that way so that they had opportunities to do more things.
And that makes sense. And I have always noticed that there's a lack when it comes to like program for kids. Do you see, I've seen like so many programs for girls. There's programs for young girls out there, but then where's programs for boys or young men? I think there's a limitation, even like in churches, or like you'll see youth groups. Like I do see youth groups. Mm-hmm. You'll see like sport. And I guess maybe for young boys or young men, sports is where they're going to build their camaraderie and their confidence and whatever they need to build in their manhood. It's going to come from like their coaches and their peers, right? But like an actual program that's designed around mindfulness and development, I don't see a lot of those type of things for boys.
No, and in reality, there's not a lot around mindfulness for girls. That's why I wrote that program. There's a lot of ones that you run with, or you do this, or you do that. But when it comes to girls, it's different. And when it comes to boys, it's different. And so it's a situation of parents feel like, well, I'll put them in this sport, like you're talking, mm-hmm. And they'll get it. They'll figure it out. But not every kid, even if they're the greatest baseball player in the world, they find difficulty, anxiety, attention situations, and they're not helped in those sports to get there. So they need a program to be able to get them to be confident at their sports instead of coaches, but instead of them being screamed at, and said, get there, do that, whatever, boys in this generation, the alpha generation, need a little more care.
Okay.
The other part is they need to be removed from the computer.
Oh, yeah.
And the computer is their lives, mm-hmm. Especially the guys. And now that becoming the girls too. So relationships, they don't have them. And they won't have them. They won't have them until they're in their 30s.
Oh, wow.
Most likely, because they didn't learn those skills. They didn't learn how to be confident unless they got yelled at.
It's funny. I don't know if you watch Toy Story with your kids or your grandkids, right?
Yes.
Have you seen the newest Toy Story? Okay. You have? Okay. I'm like, so I just saw it recently. I'm not going to spoil it for you.
Okay.
But they're the whole purpose of the new Toy Story is always trying to teach you. I feel like they're always trying to teach something to the kids. And what it was trying to teach for this one is the electronic side. It was how like electronics are creating anxiety, and they ruin kids' self-esteem, and And like even one of the characters, not Woody, what's the girl's name? The Jessie, she was so upset because she was like, these computers and these tablets are ruining our kids. Like, and I sat there like, yeah, that's so true. Like even me as an adult watching the movie. So, I mean, obviously everyone's noticing it, right? That there's a change, and even animation movies are identifying it and saying it. So I'm glad that you're bringing this to people's attention, because everyone's on tablets, everyone's on computers. I mean, even me, myself, sometimes it's the dopamine rush, right?
Oh, yes,
like,
exactly.
Like, you know, you scroll on social media and then I go down this rabbit hole, right? Because you're just kind of like, oh, what's the next hit? What's the next dopamine hit? Like our attention span's pretty low now, right?
Yeah.
That's why these reels are so popular. Like you have to have a catchy reel, even in social media, like with our students here, like the reel has to catch their attention within the first 10 seconds, or if not, you lost them, right?
Exactly.
Because the attention span is just like the next. So I mean, wow. I mean, I'm glad that you're trying to do that for young girls now, I think, and boys, and I think it's really important.
Yes, and that's very much as a situation of, because like I said earlier, the alpha generation that was born in 2010 woke up, and before they were even 3 years old, had an iPad in their hand.
That's very true.
And so that reality tells us that they didn't get those skills that our kids got because we talk to our kids. The iPad talks to those kids. My granddaughter's 15 now, and she's in that generation, and she's on the cusp. And she said, sure, but her mother did not do that. And I was so proud of her, because she made sure she had play dates, and that was more important. Sophie didn't have a iPad until she was like 11.
Wow, that's good. I messed up with my second daughter. So I remember, I clearly remember like iPads were coming out, and it was just, I was working mom, and it was just easier with my second daughter, who's 12 now. She must have been like 2 or 3 at the time, to put her to watch YouTube videos on the tablet. It was just like, okay, she's going to be quiet. I can do some work, right? I've always been an entrepreneur. Let me kind of get her over here settled. And now I saw the aftermath, where she even would watch TV. Like, let's say she was watching something and she wanted to, like, regular TV. Let's say before, now it was not like that, but let's say regular TV. She couldn't pause it. She was getting frustrated because she couldn't pause it the way you would pause a show on a tablet. Yes. You know, she would get frustrated. So when I had my last child, I was like, no, you're not getting a tablet. Like, I'm not. You're trying to change it up a little bit, right? And be a little bit wiser as a parent, because I saw how it took the effect, right? Yeah, right, wise. But yeah, no, this is a good conversation. And I think a lot of people need the technology is hurtful.
Well, and the thing that I say to the parents is, put your phone down if you want your kid to put their phone down.
Oh, that's a good one.
Because we as adults,
that's so good,
is taking that on, and that kid is sitting there on their phone, but you're sitting on there on your phone too. So I do a lot of parent sessions on teaching the parents how to work and understand that child and that child's anxiety. And a lot of times that mom had that anxiety.
Wow.
And so she uses her phone to deal with it.
Yeah. So what we're going to do real quick is we're going to take a quick short break. When we come back, we're going to keep talking to Alicia about Chatter Girls, and, don't touch that dial. We'll be right back. All right, we are back with Alicia from Chatter Girls, the nonprofit organization. If you're just jumping on, you are listening to the Wise Coffee Chat Show on WRMN 1410. And of course, you can learn more about me if you go to wisealliancenetwork.com, or you can look up my newest book, Wise Women Empower Women, on Amazon. Make sure you get your copy there and support. So what I love about Chatter Girls, it's a nationally recognized nonprofit. How do you feel about that?
That's a big thing for me because I wrote it. It was because I was a very shy person. I didn't really learn things and let go of issues I had until, like I had said before, 30. I grew up in an abusive house, and I had a schizophrenic mother and a narcissistic father. Wow. And so it was a difficult childhood. I will always say the nuns saved my life.
Really?
I really do.
So tell me a little bit about the nuns, because I know, so funny thing for those that don't know, when I had my other show years ago at the Lombard campus, you were one of my guests. Yes. And that was one of the biggest things that stood out to me, was that you grew up with nuns, right? Yeah. From the last time we spoke. And it's been, almost 10 years since that's happened, right?
Yes.
So share with the listeners, your upbringing. Why did you go to with the nuns?
Well, I went to a Catholic school. Both my parents were Catholic. And so I had some problems. And at that time, they didn't know what it was. I did not find out until I was in college that I was dyslexic.
Oh, wow.
And so my father was always late. So he'd drive us to school. We'd get to school, and Sister Margaret Rose was standing on the stairs and going, "Alicia, get in your room, get in your room." And because I wasn't a good student, I sat next to Sister Margaret Rose most of my life.
Oh, wow.
And, and she would sit there with her little stick, like everybody said, the little ruler. And I would start to write a word, and she would see I was spelling it wrong, and she would hit her stick. Well, no. She was trying to get me to pay attention. But in reality, I never studied. I had a dysfunctional family. Went home. My mom was smoking a cigarette, drinking a cup of coffee, and watching TV. My dad was working till 9 o'clock at night. Who was the mother in the house to my brother? It was me. And so I did all the housekeeping. I took care of my brother. And at 9 o'clock, it was like, there's no way I'm going to do homework. But the nuns never knew that. And because my mother and father would not let them know that. So I made it through grade school, and then I went to high school, and it was the same nuns. We had girls on one side, boys on the other side, until my senior year, and I had a boy in my class. We had boys in my class. I almost freaked. I'll tell you that story another day. But it was different because they were starting to figure out that the reason why I couldn't do math and I couldn't do English was there was something wrong. But they couldn't figure out what it was. So I ended up learning from them the most important thing, which I was telling you a little while ago, the Sister Rita Claire, she's 96 years old right now. And she was my math teacher. And she taught me that I was flunking math. Okay, first she taught me I was flunking math. And then she said, but I can help you pass. And I was like, how? Go with me every Wednesday to work with the kids in the inner city. And I'll give you points. Well, first my parents said no, but then we got them to do. So this is what I learned in school. Maybe not math, but I learned that when I got out of that car under the railroad tracks in this shack, this old Black woman sat there on the rocking chair with all these little kids running around. And there was this one little girl, curly hair, little diaper barely on her. And she ran up to me. And then I knew I had purpose.
Oh, wow.
because there was somebody who wanted me to hold them and take care of them. And that's when I learned that my life was about service.
Wow. Oh, how old were you when this happened?
15.
Wow. And that's, I mean, to have that epiphany or realization or, you know, that young, right? To be like, I know I'm meant to serve.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And they continue to always teach us that. And I'm still friends with them. I still go to see them. But they are the reason why I have values in my life. They're the reason why I have Chatter Girls. It's because they taught me math and English, but they taught me service. They taught me that I could live in the fanciest house in town, but if I'm not serving, I have no value. And that's what I teach the girls in Chatter Girls. I teach the girls how to serve each other in the program. So we do an activity where they actually ask the other person, what do you want to be? What do you want to be? What do you want to be good at? Do you want to pass a class? Do you want to be able to tumble? And so because of that, then the other person knows it. And then so then they get each other's numbers. And they talk and they text each other. How are you doing on tumbling? You know, how are you doing in that math class? And so we're teaching those girls then to care about somebody else besides themselves.
Wow, that's awesome. And I think that makes, I mean, I love I love to serve as well, right? I like to do things for others because to me, that's always my love language. Mm-hmm. It fills my cup. But I think you learn so much by serving someone else. It almost gives you the sense of there's more to life than just you. It's not all about you, right? It's about other people. And then it gives you more of it's more meaningful when you do stuff for other people, right? So I love that you're teaching even girls to do that because I think, and it's almost philanthropic, right? It's philanthropy, right? So you're giving back, you're doing things for others. I mean, I've been a big, with my daughters trying to get them to do things to serve, right? Let's go do stuff for the homeless. You know, I always try doing that like once a year, like do something so that you can see, right? Especially my oldest. But yeah, no, that's awesome that you did that.
Thanks.
Yeah, I love that. So what part of the city or Chicagoland did you grow up?
I didn't grow up in Chicago.
You grew up in Texas.
Yeah, I grew up in Fort Worth, Texas.
Yeah, I knew. I was like, wait, I don't think it was Chicago. So you grew up in Texas. So all of this happened in Texas?
Yeah.
Okay, in Texas. When did you decide to move into the Midwest?
Let's see, 8 cities later.
Okay.
So I've lived in 8 states.
Okay.
In Texas, I had a degree in science, but I ended up being a youth minister in a Catholic parish.
Okay.
And then my husband got transferred to New Orleans, so I went back to school and got some more accreditation to be a youth minister. Then I got the opportunity to go to Kalamazoo, Michigan, and be the diocesan youth minister. Okay. And then I moved to Atlanta and got to be the youth minister at the Archdiocese and work for the first Black Archbishop. And that was amazing. But then it came to a point where me and the church weren't working because I had 2 teenage kids and I couldn't support them. And that was the challenge. And so I had 4 jobs. I worked at Neiman Marcus. I worked for the church. I worked at another retail store. And I did a little bit of everything to support my kids. And I came to a place where I was sitting with a bishop and I said, I don't know if I can stay anymore. And he said, why not? I said, because I think I'm losing my faith. And I said, because all the challenges and all this political stuff, I said, I don't want to be a part of that. So I left. I finished my master's from Loyola in Chicago that I had started in Michigan. And I actually ran a halfway house for women suffering from drug and alcohol addictions.
Oh, wow.
And I loved that job. I was executive director there, but it killed me because I was 24/7. So I quit. and decided no more therapy. I'm not going to do therapy anymore for a while. And I moved to Florida, St. Petersburg, Florida, and went to work for a marketing company doing events. And that's what the other thing I had done. I started my own events business when I was in Georgia. And so I worked there for about a year and then got the opportunity to move to New Orleans. I mean, not to New Orleans, to Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Wow.
And then I went to hypnosis school.
Oh, wow.
And because I always was interested in the subconscious.
Well, I know hypnosis was just recently recognized by the medical industry, by medicine, as actual, you could probably say it better, but basically it's recognized by the medicine world that they're legit.
Yes.
Because for so many years they thought that was like not something credible or reliable or whatever, right? They were saying.
Right.
But I remember a couple years ago I read that now they see it as a form of medicine. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
It is cool. And I went to a hypnosis school, but I wanted to work with kids. Nobody was doing it. Wow. So I developed my own program. I wrote a program and I started teaching other people how to work with children. And I worked with children in Santa Fe. And then I moved to the place I never wanted to leave, even though I'm here, was San Diego, California.
Oh. I wouldn't want to leave either.
Yeah, I didn't, but I met the man of my life, and he was from Arlington Heights.
Oh, okay.
And we moved. We've been here 22 years.
Oh, wow.
So, but yes, and I believe that it's easier to work with a child than it is an adult, because think about all those things that you got in there. And in hypnosis, we take off the layers and we examine, okay, when did this happen? Okay, now let's let go of that. Let's put that layer back. But with adults, we have lots of layers. We call it an onion, and you have lots of memories in there. And you've got to do a lot more work. With a kid, it might just be one or two things that are causing them that anxiety because it was an experience, and you take them back to the experience. But for children, hypnosis is a storytelling. You tell them a story, and they are the person in the story.
That's really nice. If I'm not mistaken, children's personalities are developed up to the age of 7, I think it is, right?
Yeah.
So then you're working with kids under 7 with hypnosis. So you're even working, which is good because sometimes if they had a traumatic experience as a little one, right?
Yeah, I had a 5-year-old who was abused by her father, and I had to go to court. And it was not one of those times when hypnosis was approved, but it was in California, and it ended up that the judge knew me and had heard about me, and so he allowed my testimony because the girl told me everything. Why? Because she was relaxed. I said, okay, I want you to tell me your story. Tell me what happened when you did this, and what was your favorite bike and everything. And so they become the story. They are the story, but they tell you the negative. And then you go, okay, so do we have to keep on taking this story with us? We can let it go, can't we? Okay, let's go put it over here and put it in the box and put the top on. In Chatter Girls, we do a session where after we do Journey to the Mind, we imagine a box, and they decorate the box in their mind. And then we have a real box and we decorate it. The box represents them. And they then they have the opportunity to think about the negative things that they don't like, that people say about them or they say about that they have still in their mind. So then they write them down on a piece of paper, and they take them and they put them in the box and say, not today. In other words, I'm not going to deal with that today. I'm going to put it in the box and I'm going to put it in my closet. And then in a couple of days or next week, and I'll go, oh, what do I have in my box? And they open it up and they go, that doesn't bother me anymore. Tear it up. Not today. And so they've taken the negative out. We all carry too much negative stuff in our minds. If you could have left it go when you were a kid, what a difference that would make.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because sometimes we're carrying things with us throughout life.
Yes.
People can't let go of situations.
Right.
Our subconscious accepts so many things, right? Like you don't realize something is triggering you or bothering you because it's in the subconscious, you know?
No, you don't.
And then you're wondering, why are you reacting this way or doing this? Or, you know, have you read The Body Keeps Score? Mm-hmm. Oh, I can.
Yes, exactly.
You know, so your body is remembering traumatic experiences and you're wondering, like, why is my body reacting like this when I don't know what's happening? Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, the fact that you're doing that, I think that's great.
Day of Chatter Girls, we have a tea party.
Okay.
And we have a vase. And in the vase is a rose for every girl. Mm-hmm. Well, they had put those not todays in that vase. And so the last day, they see that they've graduated and that they are the rose. Nice. They are the beauty of the world.
Nice. So where is right now your program located? Like if someone wanted to like...
Well, we just did one in Crystal Lake and now we're mobile. In other words, we will come to you. You get 4 to 8 girls for us. We'll come. If you want to buy the program or become part of our program, then we train you to be able to do the program. So a church, a school, whatever, we're portable now.
Really?
Yeah. So I always made the program that way because I always wanted the program. So you pick up a box and you take it and session 1 is in the box and stuff like that. And so it really, really works. The Journey to the Minds, we have one for each session. And then the girls get them at the end of the whole Chatter Girls. So they have those forever. So when they're having a bad day, they pick, maybe I want to look at my mask. I'm not showing people who I am. Or I put the mask on. I don't want to see anybody. Or the mirror. Or their voice. Why am I not speaking to anybody? What do I need to do? And so the Journey to the Mind gathers them and puts them through this session and takes them through it so they can let go of it and not take it until adulthood.
Wow. So if someone wants to just, what's the cost, I guess, is the next question. If someone wants to take this on and do it in their church?
It just depends on whether it's a nonprofit or it's a profit. So it's anywhere from $5 to $10 and $1,000, but it's based on who you are. You know, if it's a school and it's another nonprofit, then we work with that. That's our biggest challenge. After COVID, I was really pushed to become a nonprofit. I didn't want to go that way. And it's a different world for me. And so that's my biggest challenge. But, you know, of getting contributions and doing fundraisings and stuff like that.
Yeah, you have to it's a whole nother world.
It is. And I'd rather be hanging out with the girls and teaching this. So I've pulled together a board and trying to get that part together. But nice. The program itself is been redone. It's beautiful. We just ran one. The girls and parents were ecstatic.
That's awesome that you're doing that and offering it mobile.
Yes.
You know, and then training people to be facilitators if they wanted to take it on themselves. And I'm sure if someone's listening or, you know, watching the YouTube and they want to, you know, take advantage of it, they can, right? And reach out to you. So if someone wants to like reach out to you, where would they go?
They'd go to Facebook. We're on Facebook. Or they'd go to our website, www.chattergirls.org. and that would be how they would get me, because I have a little thing on there. They can just send me a note if they have any questions or whatever, and then I'll answer their messages. I'm getting ready to finish my speaker website, and so I'm going to start speaking nationally.
Very nice.
I didn't know I spoke so much. That's why I was asking you the other day.
You were. And I was like, she spoke at my first conference.
Yeah.
The first women's conference, I think you spoke at it, correct? At the Radisson
Yes.
Blue. Was it the first one? I think it was my first one.
Two of them.
You spoke at two of them?
Yes.
Okay, because I know I did three. So if you spoke at two of them, you must have spoken to the first and the third, because they were both at the RAD. You were both live, right?
Yeah. Well, we were both at the RAG, but so then I went back to look at where I spoke, and I ended up having over 50 pictures of speaking. And I'm like, I didn't know I spoke that much, but I'm excited about that because I can get the message out to more people, and more people can grab on and do a Chatter Girls in their own areas, no matter where they are.
Yeah. I know that when we were offline, you were talking about anxiety, and you were talking about like a coping mechanism that you do, if I'm not mistaken, right? Something about the swing. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, when I was a kid, I had a lot of anxiety, and my granddaughter does too. And I wrote the program for her. And so Sophie would always get anxious about going to school and other people's opinions of her and stuff. And so I said, well, go swing. And so she comes in the summer with us, and we have a swing and stuff. And I always tell her, I said, okay, let's just get on the swing. Think of what's bothering you and push your legs as fast as you can. And every time you swing forward, exhale and let it go. Exhale and let it go. And then start inhaling the beauty all around you. The sky, the stars, the trees. Look at that beauty that you get to take in. And you don't have to take that anxiety with you. Mm-hmm. And one of the things is that mindfulness can be done that way. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And you keep that image in your mind.
And I think if people practice more mindfulness, there's just so many health benefits to it, right?
I did mindfulness before anybody was doing mindfulness. I mean, in reality, because that's what you do in hypnosis.
Yeah. Well, I mean, something as when I coach in my coaching program that I do once a year, I tell the women, like, do your bed and actually be mindful of doing your bed, meaning like touch it, look at it, like actually experience doing the bed. That's a mindfulness activity.
Yeah, absolutely.
And because sometimes we're like robots. We're just doing things, not thinking. How many times have you driven a car and then you're like, you got to your destination, but you don't even remember how you got to your destination, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, I'm here. Oh.
Yeah. And then you're like, what did I do? That's because you're not being mindful. You're just letting you're on autopilot. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
And I think that's when you're most susceptible to things, right?
Exactly. I mean, we drive the car and it's pouring down rain. And instead of going, oh, this is beautiful rain, instead we're going, oh my God, what am I going to do in this rain and everything? But we don't look at the beauty of what the rain's going to give us.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, where do they go if they want to reach out to you?
They can go to our website and or our Facebook page.
Okay.
And Chattergirls.org.
Chattergirls.org. And I'm sure she takes on, I'm sure if anyone wants to donate, support, go to the website. She's a 501c3. But I thank you so much for being here this morning with us, taking the time. And thank you to the team and the guys here that are supporting the show, as well as the team back at WR Men that puts it out there. But I think this is such a great conversation. We need more conversations about our little ones this, right?
I'll come back.
Because they're the next generation for sure. And it's important. So thank you again for being here. But yeah, you guys are listening to WR Men 1410. You can learn more about them at WRmen1410.com, and learn more about me. Just find me, Wise Jennifer Sanchez, on all social media platforms, or Wise Coffee Chat. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great rest of your week. God bless.